Welcome to the Behind the Remodeler broadcast. Welcome to the Behind the Remodeler, brought to you by KM Builders. I'm Keith Maley, and my co-hosts today are the usual Justin Bravo and our special guest Bonnie Gaddis. And we're going to be talking about insights into the cabinet world, the world of cabinetry, and we're in our 6th episode of Behind the Remodeler. Welcome back, and thanks for listening to Behind the Remodeler podcast. Our co-host Justin is here, along with our special guest Bonnie Gaddis. How are y'all doing today?
Wonderful.
Great. I'll tell you, I'm excited because
You're always excited, Justin.
I am. I'm always pumped. But cabinetry. Like, I was not a cabinet person, and like, to me, like, wood on the wall was wood on the wall until I started going on y'all's projects. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And I didn't know all the things I didn't know, like all the different there's like a basket or a hinge or some kind of hardware for anything specialty you could ever imagine. It was really blowing my mind.
Well, don't feel alone, because since Bonnie came, I figured out there's a whole lot I didn't know about cabinetry.
Oh man,
also.
yeah, and that's what I'm hearing. Like, all these stuff is a lot of her brainchild of all these things that to really make life easier in the kitchen or bathroom or anything. And to be honest, it blew me away. So I would love to know more about what's going on. And actually, Bonnie, more about you. What's going on with you? Like, where did you get your start in the cabinetry world?
I actually started in the cabinetry world through a school work program where I went to school half a day and went to work half a day. And that's how I actually started at the company cabinet manufacturing company where I worked for 32 years. I grew up with the company. It started out 28 employees when I started, and at the peak of their manufacturing, they had over 400 employees.
Wow.
So I literally
You
grew
really
up with the
grew
company.
with that company, didn't you?
And learned everything there is to know about cabinets. So I do have a very detailed knowledge of cabinets, down to how they're made, the screws, and every piece and part of them.
Every person we've had come in to try to help us with our cabinetry program. I remember when we first launched our cabinetry, our manufactured cabinetry process, people were trying to learn it. It's not easy to learn. I found that out.
There's a lot of detailing
There
in
really is.
cabinets, and how the pieces go together and the parts, and what you can and can't do with a cabinet in a kitchen. And sometimes when you're trying to do built-in of the appliances, the cooktops and stuff like that, there are limitations, and not everybody understands that there are some of those.
And I've had certified cabinet designers work in KM Builders that could not order the pieces and help us get all the pieces straight. And when Bonnie came, our orders started getting exactly and precise, and helping us to know what parts and pieces it takes to make a piece of cabinetry work the way that the designer may want it to work. So she's one of the few really, truly focused interior designers that knows cabinetry better than. I'd put her up against anybody for counties and cities around that knows the details about it. So we're real privileged to have Bonnie with all of her inside, in-depth cabinetry experience and ordering ability, and she is just one of the most pleasant persons to work with, and everybody loves working with her.
Ordering's insane, because I've seen some of the cabinet books for some of these manufacturers, and it's just like, it's it's like a foot thick, and like, it's
Dictionary.
just SKU after SKU after SKU, and it seems like an ordering nightmare. So you really would have to be on your game to get that right.
And it changes too, right, Bonnie?
It changes, yes, because they update stuff yearly, and we don't just have one cabinet company that we buy from. We have several different lines. Right now we're offering 6-7 different cabinet lines here at KM. So it's really, really awesome, and it gives us so much room to grow and order different cabinets depending on the client and what they're needing and what they're looking for. So I really love that about KM and the cabinets.
And you could just imagine, Justin, from your perspective or from a client's perspective, what value that adds to our customers to have Bonnie knowing all these different lines, knowing the in-depth details. And it's one thing to show people or tell people we can do that and this is what it's going to look like. But it's also really wonderful on our end that we know we're going to order the right pieces, and that the project is not going to be delayed.
100%. People don't realize that on most of these parts, I'm sure it's several weeks out.
That's
at
right.
least. And so, because there's special finishes, and if they had that particular hardware in stock, and so if it's not ordered at the time where you put the initial order in, I imagine it can really push everything back. And if you don't have someone who's really seasoned in, you know, the cabinet ordering process, man, that could really be a bummer for everybody involved.
And very few companies that are in the remodeling business want to deal with that type of, if you might call it a hassle, because they have so much to learn and there's such a learning curve on it. They can never really lock it down, and they're constantly having problems because of it, and it delays their projects, it delays their orders, it delays the customer. You know, and it doesn't make people happy. It can cost them money, but so they'll go to custom cabinets, because the custom cabinet world is, they make their pieces on site, or they make them in a shop, and they're fairly usually close to the area where they're building. They can go take their measurements and so forth, and it's all on that builder, just like a subcontractor. It's another subcontractor in the mix that this builder wants to get rid of responsibility and say it's all on you. And so it's very, very popular to just do custom cabinetry, or to have a third party come in and order all the parts and pieces, because they're supposed to be experts at it. And we've done that. We've done both of those worlds, and neither one of them worked very well, because as much responsibility as you'd like to put on people, they don't take it very well, and they drop the ball. We get delays. We don't like the quality and so forth. So we worked real hard to keep this under our roof, because it can end up being getting rid of the middleman.
I can imagine like twofold, all right? So if you had a completed kitchen, it's gorgeous, it's done, all the lighting and the counter, everything's done, but you're missing like a small like section of crown for the cabinets. I mean, it's done except for that. Like, how much of it is like you look at your finished kitchen as a customer and as the builder and think, man, this thing's amazing, but it's just not quite done yet, and you have to sit on it for 3-4 weeks while that part comes in.
Yeah,
like,
or the Lazy Susan or something like that. It can be small, it can be a big piece, it can be the piece that connects the two pieces. I mean, it can, right?
That happens.
It does happen.
And it's very unfortunate, but we try to minimize that by having some of the standard and typical things in-house, waiting in the warehouse, so that we always have a backup. So we're just not left hanging like that on any project.
well, that comes from experience. It has to
It
be.
comes from experience. to
And
keep
the
us at
fact
our
that
house.
we cooperate with that. She knows that I want to make sure that the customer is served well, so we keep a really large stock. That's why we have a big warehouse, an inventory of parts and pieces. Every time we order something, you order extra.
I do try to order extra, and there's certain things that we definitely would keep in stock, like the shelf clips and side guides and stuff that we know sometimes falls through the cracks or it slips, and occasionally the supplier may not have them in the order, but we always have a backup, and then we wait for the supplier to resend us that stuff, not the client.
And another thing is, you know, the fact that we get it early enough, because we order these cabinets, I mean, just almost right after the client signs the down payment. We're ordering so early, and then we're scheduling and getting all the details worked out. There's usually a little time in there by the time we would notice that something wouldn't be maybe 100%. There's a little time to go ahead and order before the project is finished. So by her being so quick on the order and having all the details worked out and then double checked by the construction team, it really does minimize problems.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I know, you know, the one thing I know about KM is there's systems in place for everything involved. So I'm sure there is a dramatic system for cabinetry to make sure there's a checks and balances and all the things, because you know, I mean, you've been in business for a long time, and I imagine that experience has really helped make projects go smoother.
And I know you walk through the office and you see other meetings going on in little rooms. We kicked, since we're doing the podcast, we kicked them out of this office, and they're actually meeting in the break room, because there's other meetings with clients going on in the other parts of the office.
There's a meeting in every office of this.
There is
right now. I mean, every room is full of
right
people.
now. And then one more in the break room. One more in the break room. That works as a backup meeting for in-house employees. And what they're doing is exactly what we described. They're having a meeting about a project. And construction says they want, okay, I want all the details from the sales and design staff, and then they go through it, scrutinize it. It's a real friendly meeting, but hey, you know what, here's some things that we feel we need to know, or here's some details we want. Have we thought of this? So it's a system of double checks. And it's a team effort. It's not one group criticizing the other. It's about learning and improving. So we have continued to get better and better, even with Bonnie's just massive experience that she brings to the table. I know that she appreciates having a team that really works with her, lets her know how things went.
Absolutely. It's nice to know I have that backup system and other people out there to kind of help. Did you think of this? Did you think of that? We worked on a project similar to this and this happened. You know, it's really nice to have those checks and balances and other people who really are concerned and care about the client at the end. I mean, the KM team is awesome and wonderful to work with. I've never had such a wonderful group.
I know you really enjoy that.
I love this job.
Yeah, and it does. It's so much to do with the people, isn't it?
It does. Yeah, and the team environment here at KM, amazing.
And we
And
get
they-
so many compliments on Bonnie. I
They
mean,
do
you can
help.
tell, but anybody who would meet her would know why. But it is true, and I appreciate what you say. Keeping the same people over and over that do care, makes is the environment we need to keep improving. And speaking of improving, we went from custom manufactured cabinetry to pre-manufactured cabinetry. That was a huge jump for us.
Well, you talked about earlier that there's like 7 different lines that y'all carry. Now, I don't know that much about it, but is it like cars where you kind of have your basic and as you have different lines, you have just a little bit more elegant stuff, a little bit better put together? I mean, like, how does it work?
Absolutely, and that's a large part of what I do is finding the right line for that client, because not all clients need the Omega top of the line custom stuff when they can get everything that they need and on all of the options they could ever want in a better price point cabinet.
Sure.
So I find the right fit for each client, and having all those different lines allows me to do that.
And the lines she's referring to, you can go ahead and list some of them. Aristocraft is one of them.
Aristocrat, Homecrest, Diamond Vibe, Omega, so
And Dynasty.
Dynasty.
And so all of these are lines of the Masterbrand world.
Mm-hmm.
Masterbrand is the largest cabinet manufacturer in the world, and that's global. And we are their largest local dealer. So we have a really good support system through Masterbrand. It's why we focus on their cabinetry. And by the way, you're right. As Bonnie said, yes, it's like different car models that go up to the very, very luxurious, even something as high up as a what's the real big one that I just slipped my mind, but
The
you know,
Lexus, the Ferrari.
like a Bentley type thing?
like a Bentley.
Alright.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And that, they also make a Rolls. That's
Okay,
what
alright.
I was thinking of. It goes up to the Bentley and Rolls, and then there's a lot of models in between that are luxury too. But again, that's not for everyone. But one of the things I want to point out is that it can be fully custom to the 1/8 of an inch. It depends on the budget and it depends on what the needs are. And sometimes things just aren't needed out of the full custom range. The standard offerings work really well, so we can have a mix, right, Bonnie? We can mix pieces from different worlds because we need something really custom, but we don't need the whole cabinet line custom,
That's right.
and so that saves money. But what would you say are the main reasons you think you prefer, or what you like about the advantages of pre-manufactured versus custom?
I like the pre-manufactured because of the consistency in the finishing process. The cabinets, when they come from a manufacturer,
A local one.
yeah, the finish is just so good. I mean, they go through a drying process,
Oh,
they have heated
mhm.
ovens when you're in manufactured cabinets, and the finish is just so durable.
Well, those facilities are huge, right? I mean,
They're huge.
like paint
These-
spray booths and everything. is
Yes, they're $1 million spray rooms, and I know that for a fact. And the process is just amazing. They go through the line,
With
the
robotics.
finishes, yes, the finishes are baked on, and you just don't get that in a custom builder. I mean, not that the custom cabinets aren't good, they're good, and sometimes they're preferred for the particular client, depending on their needs and what they're wanting. But the finish of the manufactured cabinet is really hard to beat.
It can be. I mean, I've been to some local custom places, and I've seen them like they'll have like a spray booth, so they'll spray it in a very clean environment, but they're drying outside in a pretty open environment. And just because, you know, if they're turning
Space.
out amount of work, they got
Space
to
limitations.
put it there, and I would imagine while it's drying, curing, any kind of little particle in the air could help, you know, really put a little dent in that finish and not really keep it as smooth, you know, car-like glass finish that you can get out of a manufacturer, I'd imagine.
Absolutely.
That's right. The air extraction, the air quality that they have in these multi-million-dollar facilities is just incredible. It cannot be duplicated locally.
Right, they're clean rooms.
Yeah, they are ultra clean rooms with ultrasonic technologies using to kill anything, to stop anything that would try to migrate through these filters. They have ionization. I mean, it's just an incredible, like a lab. It's almost like a laboratory clean. And you just can't get that. And then, of course, that is the number one reason that we prefer using them, is because we're able to offer a better product. It is so good that they offer a limited lifetime warranty on the finish itself, in addition to the rest of the cabinet. So we can't get that in a local line, or even the very best custom manufacturers in and around in Texas, or even past Texas, cannot offer these features. So we want the best for our clients. We also find that, as she said, it's much more consistent.
Yeah.
Not just are they longer lasting, but the look is so consistent, which we have not been able to get 100% of the time through custom.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, it'd be like ordering your custom car every time, and, you know, I keep bringing back to cars, but, you know, that makes sense to me. But, like, if you order a custom car, they're building a different type vehicle every time it comes off the end of the lot. I mean, those are not going to be consistent at all.
Right.
And now y'all can expect exactly every time what that crown's going to look like, what that finish is going to look like, what that door style is going to look like. I mean, I would imagine they've really kind of nailed that process down perfectly.
Even shaper heads that are used in cabinetry need to be changed, and they start to change the intricate details of cabinetry. This is done through systematic procedures that let computers check it to make sure that it's not getting off at all, so that one type of intricate trim will line up perfectly with another. These types of details are what get off a little bit, as with human error and with just not catching the machinery getting off over a period of time. These are real expectations in the custom cabinet world, which are not something we have to deal with in the pre-manufactured world. And so we also know that pricing has been superior in most cases with the pre-manufactured. We're also getting our product quicker, and we're in control of it a lot sooner. So those are some of the advantages that we wanted to go to pre-manufactured. But as we said before, it's not easy to do. Not a lot of people have been able to succeed at it, and certainly they haven't been able to succeed with the largest cabinet manufacturer in the world, which we have been able to obtain. And virtually anything can be built with Masterbrand. And so we're really grateful to be part of them. They came and asked us if we'd be their dealer here
That's
locally.
incredible.
Yeah.
Now, how are they with like popular stuff? I mean, they've got, you know, do they have? I'm sure that there's tried and true type cabinets, styles and finishes. But is there some they do as far as, you know, research and bringing in new product lines and new finishes and what's going on in that world?
They do. They're really, really good about that. Every year they offer new products, new finish colors, stains, and paints to keep up with what is trending. So they're really good that way, and they do that with every single line they offer. So that makes it really awesome. And then they also are consistently and always updating what's popular on the inside of the cabinets to help organize in your kitchens, to help organize in the bathrooms, and they're always coming up with new things to help make that better too. Because a very important part of the cabinet is how it's going to function in your home and how you need it to function in your home, and they don't lose sight of that. It's not just a cabinet; it's a functioning piece of cabinetry.
That makes a lot of sense. I bet a bunch of people focus on aesthetics and not think about the functionality.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah.
And it's a piece of furniture in your home.
It is.
The Masterbrand says they spend millions of dollars in research every year. And if you don't believe it, if we didn't believe it, we believed it once we go to the annual KBIS show, the Kitchen and Bath Industry show every year, and they have a huge setup there with all of the latest industry technology and the research that they've done in the North America to show what's really trending and what's popular, what's going to be popular over the next year and few years. And so we see things that are consistent. We see new embellishments of things that are consistent, which make it cooler. And then we see new things that are like, oh my gosh, this is just incredible. We see new devices that open and close and just make it, they're creating possibilities that we never knew existed with the way things function, but also with the looks and putting certain colors together, certain finishes. I know some of the panels are, for example, some of the things, what stands out to you from the KBIS show that we've gone to? Is there anything that really struck you as being kind of new and unique?
Oh, so many things. Actually, I loved, they had a display for the laundry room. Amazing.
I remember that one.
Beautiful. They had an office display where they use like the plumbing pipes that's so popular right now to kind of build like the shelves. Yeah.
They had a beautiful industrial.
Cool.
There was one I tried to buy the display from because they
like every display.
I try to buy displays every
so
year because they are
beautiful.
so cool. They are so well thought out.
Yep.
And so much research into them. But another one that was just the acrylic panels that look so deep. It's just a gloss finish that looks so incredibly thick. It's like it has a half-inch of clear on it, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful look, and it's a very, very high-end kitchen at a very reasonable price. So we start off with items that are going to appeal to every price range, but when you're in that lower price range, maybe you're going to get something beautiful, something you didn't maybe expect was really cool that you could have in it. But if you're willing to spend a little more or a lot more, the possibilities are limitless. What you can get with the modern cabinetry world that's out there today by Masterbrand, it is just, there's almost, I don't know how they can do another show, because every show they do, they have to come up with new things. And so I keep thinking they're going to run out, but they don't. It's always something new at every show.
What do you think is going to be trending, Bonnie, over the next couple of years? I mean, I guess it also kind of depends on, San Antonio is going to be different than other parts of the country,
And
but
that is absolutely true. South Texas is kind of like its own thing, because we have so much of the rustic and so much of the hill country and ranch. We do kind of have our own thing going on, which is gorgeous because we are individuals down here, and it really works for us. We are seeing more mud rooms, which is awesome, and the cabinet lines have opened that up for us. They definitely are on top of that as far as keeping up with the trends. So they have a lot more mudroom type cabinets available. Another thing that's coming up, and they're doing a lot more, is the laundry room. We're seeing a lot more for the laundry rooms.
We've done some too.
Absolutely stunning, beautiful cabinets, and just a lot that I can really work with in designing cabinetry for those rooms. Even if they're not exactly intended for that, their cabinetry is so flexible, I can use it in any room and make it work.
And transitional is dominating. We're getting a little more contemporary in San Antonio, and it's usually a mix of contemporary with some of the transitional and traditional items. So that's one of the easiest ones to decorate for, is a transitional. You can design your whole home with strengths and emphasis in different areas when you have that transitional look. Another one that we've seen is a little less heavier lean on cabinetry or flush cabinetry pulls, and even less hardware on the cabinetry.
clean lines
And recessed pulls so that they're completely flush, or actually grooving in the cabinetry along it to make a beautiful design that is actually a pull. Now, we also saw at the show, we've seen a lot of push hardware that you just push it and it opens up. And so complete slab doors are really growing in popularity too, both in laminates, which are plastic laminates, which look like woods, and then wood veneers that are entire doors and drawers and so forth, and vertical and horizontal lines that basically look like there is no break in it anywhere. You can't see the doors from the drawers. It's just a really, really clean
That's
look.
pretty cool.
Yeah, the European look is part of that.
It's starting to pop up a little bit in San Antonio. Like as I'm driving around in some of these new custom homes, it's not just all that Tuscan hill country stuff with the clay tile roofs and all that. It's very popular here, but you're starting to see a little bit more of that contemporary architecture going on, and that's pretty exciting.
Even in the hill country, yeah. And it is it's already had its peak. There's no doubt about it. It's climaxed, but we will continue to see some of that, and some of it will also be in a transitional format where we have a little bit of the rustic with a little bit of the modern, and that really is a nice subtle blend, and it can be done very tastefully. But again, heavy hardware, ornate That's obviously on the down, even in the Tuscan and the Hill Country Rustic, even that's getting toned down more and more. But Bonnie is seeing all these worlds. She's trying to understand through the designers what the customer's really looking for, the feel they're looking for. She's really good at helping our designers to nail that down and show them such a big part of their project, which is the furniture cabinetry. And it just really, really is the gem of the house.
That's huge. I mean, like, you know, I'm looking to buy a home, you know, probably by next summer, and as I was kind of just thumbing around looking at different listings, you know, I go look right at the kitchen, you know, and I look at the cabinetry there, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can work with that. You know, and it's really kind of a big deal, and people don't realize, you know, how dramatic effect having the proper cabinetry finished the right way, how big of an impact that can have beyond their home.
We do need to help what we do ourselves, which is expand our thinking. Clients need to be exposed to what's out there in the world, and then their thinking starts to adjust so that they are actually a little more forward in their thinking. If we just show people what they've seen before, they'll pick out of that, typically. They may not be as excited, right?
Right.
But they'll pick. But
They'll
what we
pick.
want to do is
Open that up
open
for
it
them
up,
and show them everything that's available, and at the same time keep them in like, you don't want them to have a 1950s home and then have them put in an ultra modern cabinet, because it just doesn't work. It won't work with the feel of the home. It won't. You know, you see the house from the outside and it doesn't work on the inside, and that's some of the things you may be experiencing. And so we try to keep just keep it so design-wise it works.
It's got to flow together,
Yeah, when you go into the home, you notice those things, even if you're not thinking, oh, okay, now I know why. You know, it just, when you walk in, you get the feel, and to have everything work together, especially including the cabinets, it's really important. And when you're planning a kitchen, the cabinets are such a huge expense. You want to do it once, and you want to do it right. You want to do something that can work with the floors that are popular now and the floors that are going to be popular 10 years from now.
Not going too trendy.
Not going too trendy, but trendy enough to feel like you really updated your kitchen.
Makes sense.
And a really good high quality cabinet, which is what KM sells. We only sell the all-ply construction with the soft close everything, and the full extension drawer guides, and the soft close hinges.
the full wood drawers with
Yes.
dovetail joints and so
Solid
forth.
wood drawer sides, dovetail construction. You know, it's so important to don't skip on the quality, because those cabinets are going to be there for a long time. You're going to spend $20,000-$30,000 on the cabinets. Don't get overly trendy on those. Do trendy on the floor, because you know you're going to replace it about every 10 years. Do trendy hardware, trendy plumbing, and that's a good way to facelift your kitchen without having a lot of expense.
Yeah, without ever changing it. We try to expose our clients to these new ideas. We do a lot of videos. The marketing team does videos, different projects, lots of photos, so we can show people what it will feel like. I mean, we turn over a project almost every week, and so we're getting those professionally photographed and videoed.
Even 360-degree videos.
Yeah, we've done the virtual reality. That's
Yeah.
right. And so you can stand inside a kitchen and one of that Bonnie's designed and see what it's going to look and feel like, so that you don't have to feel like you're taking a chance. Or, you know, if you're scared, you say, well, now I know what it really looks like. It does look awesome. Just seeing samples and doors and so forth might be a little bold for some people, but when they can actually see it visualized, of course, Bonnie does a great job of showing all of this before a person selects it in 3D on 2020, which shows virtual reality of what the product's going to look like. So people have a really good idea with her design skills what that's going to look like. It's a tremendous value to be able to have Bonnie with those skill sets, to be able to show everyone what that looks like. Not just know everything that's behind it. And by the way, there are a lot of people who can show something on 3D, but they don't really represent the cabinetry, and they don't know how to get it there to get all the pieces with it as well.
Sure, and they always say conceptual in nature, because it's like this could be what it looks like, but we don't know until we actually like draft it out, and they may not even do that. So I know y'all do. I mean, y'all go through extensive amount of
before they
planning.
ever see a 3D. It's actually based on what they could actually
That's awesome.
do. Yeah, so it is detailed. It has to be. We just don't do it any other way.
I want to hear more about the options inside the cabinets, because when we go out, like the all-star thing that everybody loves is that thing where the knife drops into the soft. I explain it to them, because this thing, I don't know why I've never seen this before, but like I've gone on the last few projects and the knife just kind of drops into this like foam. I don't know what it is, but people love it and they go crazy and they'll sit there and do it over and over and over.
Yeah, it is so awesome. I try to get one of these in every single kitchen next to the range.
I'm glad you
because
do.
They're so awesome. It is a knife block,
Okay.
and it is full of plastic pegs, long, tall pegs, and that's how the knife just can drop into it. And the whole knife block, for cleaning purposes, comes out real easy. You can wash it in your dishwasher, and you just leave it upside down to dry. So everything about this, the cabinet company did their homework.
It's mesmerizing.
That's where we first saw it. Was at a show.
Yes,
We saw it at a
they
show.
built an amazing cabinet organizer that it has your knives in there, and then it also has the canisters in there for your ladles and your big stirring spoons and your spatulas. So everything is off of the countertop into a cabinet, and it just makes for a beautiful kitchen, and the cabinet is so nicely organized.
I love that. I can imagine
Awesome.
like you kind of have stuff on the counter, it kind of collects dust, it's open to the
Yeah.
air, like but if it's in the cabinet, it's easy to get to, it's clean, like I love that.
Well,
Like,
just that knife block is really, really neat, because you know where people have to put their big butcher knives and all their series and maybe their whole knife set. It could be a very luxurious knife set, but you have to put it on the counter. And now, we don't want things on the counter.
no.
And we don't want them sitting in a drawer where they're going to be laying on top of each other. These are expensive knives. So this knife block system is a bunch of nylon or rubber rods that are they're standing up vertically in next to each other with just the ends exposed in about a 8-inch by 12-inch or 14-inch. And if you were just to look at the top of it, it looks like a smooth rubber or dark black top. But when you look closely, you're seeing the ends of a bunch of 1/8 to 3/16 little rubber rods. And it's hard to see, but whenever you touch them, when you put a knife blade in, they shift. They slip away from each other, and enough to,
It's a little quicksand.
and yeah, it's like, it just like moves like sand does, that's right. And you put your knife in it anywhere you want, and they stand on end so that you can see the handles. And it's just really, really one of the many innovative things that we've seen at the shows and that we've brought at the KBIS, the Kitchen and Bath Industry show we go to. We bring these things to our clients, and Masterbrand, like we said, has just a tremendous booth that is bigger than our entire office.
Yeah.
Our office and warehouses together, it's bigger than that by itself, and that's just one of many, many industry items at that show. It is like city blocks, literally city after city block, wherever they do it, whether it's in Florida or Vegas or wherever. And so we go to those, we take pictures, we learn about what Masterbrand is doing, what's available. They also do other seminars with us. They do a lot of teaching with us since we're one of their dealers. And it really does allow us to offer the very best and latest to our clients.
So that knife block, like what else is coming out after? I mean, like there's got to be something else that people haven't tried yet, but once they start seeing in their homes, I mean, is there like an integrated cookie jar or like some kind of way to slide bacon out of the countertop? And like is there something?
It's coming.
What else is coming?
It's coming.
They do have so many neat things and so many new innovations that they're coming out with. The drawers with your USB ports in them.
Oh yeah,
New
it's huge.
thing.
There's never enough USB ports.
No, and they're called charging drawers now, where you put in your cell phones and your tablets and stuff like that.
Well, here's
So you have
one.
a charging drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Those I see those gaining more and more in popularity.
I saw
because
that at
they're
that
so
one project
awesome.
you just finished.
We did.
That was pretty nice. And then there was also like a Tupperware drawer. That thing
Oh.
looked insane.
Those are awesome. They've been around for a while. They really do give you so many good ways to organize a cabinet that is never organized. If you go in any home, they have a Tupperware cabinet, and is usually
I'll tell you how I do
a
mine.
mess.
I take it out of the dishwasher and I just chunk them all in that cabinet, and I hope it shuts.
And you,
That's
and you
how it
close the
works.
door quickly.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
how it
she's got a
works.
better way, yeah.
Yeah.
How
but
about
this
another?
cabinet does it. I mean, it has a spot for everything, and it has
really
a spot
does.
for the lids, and it just makes it so much easier to take care of it.
I like organized too. That's what we're gonna put in our kitchen remodel. Another one, you know the SUVs have that wave underneath the lift gate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got that in upper cabinetry. You can,
Really?
yeah, and some of the upper cabinetry opens just like a lift gate, so it's up and out of the
So
way.
it's like wave your hand under the sensor and it like.
Right.
Right.
And then
That's
what
amazing.
happens is you can't reach it. A lot of people couldn't reach it
Yeah.
once it goes up, so they need to wave and then it comes
Well,
back
you can.
down.
You're like 7.5 feet tall.
But they can't. So they have that so that you can just wave and then it comes back down and closes.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
because that exposes so much more than having those doors opening to the sides. When a door lifts up, which is another innovative feature in the cabinetry world, having vertically rising lift up doors. But again, having that convenience of electronic motion
Mm-hmm.
and automatic type closing and opening is a cool feature that's coming in the cabinetry world. We'll be installing some of those in some upcoming projects.
I'll tell you, like I said, the more I've gone on some of these projects, the more I'm excited about, like, man, I want my kitchen to look like that, or the next house I get, I want to buy something like that. You know, I know this gets a little bit off cabinetry, but having those double dishwashers at that last project y'all did, that was insane.
I love
like, I was
that.
like, I need.
That's,
I didn't. You don't realize you need 2 dishwashers until you see 2 dishwashers.
That's what I'm gonna get. I know, like you said, why do we need to put dishes away when we can just put them in the other one? Use them, put them in the other dishwasher.
There it is.
Talk about convenience for busy people. That's what we are, busy people these days.
Speaking of appliances, refrigerators. So talking about like, is the panel like we're kind of built in and blended in with the cabinetry? Is that the thing, or is it better to show like the stainless steel front of the fridge? I mean, what's the trend?
It's really that really comes down to personal preference. It's beautiful to have in a whole kitchen, to have all the wood and to have everything match the cabinets. Stunningly beautiful. Cabinets do break down though. The panels usually don't transfer after about 5 or 10 years, and usually after the one breaks down, the appliances have updated so much that you know you're going to want to get the latest greatest appliance too. So you might not be able to use that panel again. So depending on how you want your kitchen to look and how you want to go forward in the future, that may not be something that's so
Sure,
important
that makes
to
sense.
you for the investment that it is.
But the highest end kitchens that we do typically do have the panels on them, where it's a seamless look. You have to know where the refrigerator is to be able to find it, and many times it has no hardware on it at all. Some of the new refrigerators that are coming out you can lean into them just slightly and they will open up, so you can have literally a seamless kitchen. It is a beautiful, beautiful look.
And y'all have done some really good ones because, you know, I think a lot of times people see, you know, at least for me, make the mistake, they'll put like those panels on a fridge, but then it's also near a large bank of cabinets, so it looks just like this huge wall of, you know, and it doesn't break up at all, but the ones y'all have done look really well integrated.
So you want that look. If you want that look, that's the way to go, and that's typically a very high-end look.
Very
And-
high end. It looks really nice.
So, as far as warranties and stuff, you know, I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but what's the warranties on this? Do the different lines have different warranties, or how's it all work?
Well, that's the nice thing about the different lines being Masterbrand. Masterbrand does have a limited lifetime warranty, so as long as you're good to your cabinets, those cabinets are warranted, especially the parts. And we have had people use this that have had the side guides for 10 years and they have problems with them. They call in, I call the company and say, you know what, we have a client, they've had this cabinet for 10 years, they need new guides. They send those guides straight to their house.
Oh, wow.
So they are really, no questions asked. So they are really good about servicing their warranties.
That's amazing.
and
I mean,
it
not
really
just,
was.
you know, from a manufacturer standpoint, but I know from a KM standpoint too as well. Like, you know, I know that KM stands behind all the work y'all do, and y'all service that a lot. I mean, what from the KM side of things, like when that comes in, I mean, is that a small service charge, or how do y'all usually work something like that?
No, there's no service charge for that. We cover the labor on that as well. We do really need a cabinet company that will support us to have really happy clients. Either that or we're gonna end up eating it. If we have a very small warranty, short warranty with a custom cabinet builder, which is usually what you get, you're not going to be happy later on down the road. The client's not going to be happy, and that means that if we want to keep that client happy, even though that's what was specified in the contract, they are not going to be happy if it creates a problem within 5 years or
Sure.
7 years. They're not going to be happy, and we might end up eating that to keep a happy client. So we want a company that will stick by it longer, and lifetime warranty is a good long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I imagine in the remodeling world, like when you go into someone's home, they always have the option of like, should I replace these cabinets or should I just paint them? And like, oh, painting is going to be all they ever need, but it doesn't really address all the things. So like, what do you say to somebody who wants just to paint and they're not sure if they want to go for that little bit more or that upgrade on doing a replacement or anything like that? What are your thoughts on painting versus the investment of new cabinetry?
I would definitely encourage them to invest in the new cabinetry because, like you said, most of the cabinets that are actually in a home are going to be your furniture board or your old particle board, and the least we sell at KM is going to be your all-ply construction, soft close, everything. And on your older cabinets, you can't always add in all those bonuses without doing a lot of extra work, and it ends up costing them just as much, if not more, by the time because to refinish them, you have to totally strip them, you have to prime them, you have to
There's probably
paint.
some repair
You're
involved.
Definitely repair. If they want soft close, you're gonna have to cut the cabinets, with a router to get in the hinges and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times it's better, you get a better high quality cabinet for about what you paid to refinish it. And it's just worth it to just
Yeah.
go in there and get a really good high quality cabinet.
Yeah, I'll add that if you just painted the cabinets, you would be about 2/3 of the cost of new cabinetry.
Mhm.
But that does not include the fact that some cabinetry is not really paint grade wood. Paint grade wood and stain grade wood, if you have stained cabinets, it's more than likely not a paintable wood. They can be painted, but it takes even more than 2/3 of a cabinet budget to do that then, to get that grain to disappear. So grain like oak, hickory, and oak and hickory, those are two of your more common ones. They are not paint grade woods. So you really need a maple to be able to paint or stain, to paint them if you're going to paint them. Staining can be done, but you have to go darker. And again, you're 2/3 at least of the cost of new cabinetry. Now, if you're not saving your backsplashes and your countertops, then it really doesn't make sense to do that. In addition, like Bonnie said, the hardware's old. The drawers are old. You're getting all new drawers with new cabinetry. You're getting full wood drawers this time. And almost never do you see that. Almost never do you see really high quality cabinetry. People say, well, this is really good cabinetry that I have, good wood. Well, it might be good wood, but it doesn't mean it's a high level of cabinetry. And in most cases, we see that it's really dating the kitchen to keep that type or style of door. So when you consider all that you can get out of new cabinetry, in addition to the new configurations you can gain, which if you're gonna have to change or build in a refrigerator or build that cabinet out that you can't reach, or you wanna go and open up a little bit for a range hood or something like that, bin hood, then you're modifying cabinetry. If there's something you don't like about your cabinetry, to pay to have that fixed on top of refinishing is going to put you really close to the price of new cabinetry, and then you still have a lot of the old with it, and no doubt are still going to be dating your kitchen. So so many wonderful features can be added with new cabinetry.
Yeah, that seems like silliness. I mean, it's like, let me replace my engine, transmission, all my wheels, and some panels on the car, and then repaint it. It's like, whoa,
you're getting to the cost.
You're gonna buy a new car,
yeah,
and
or even a very, very good used one.
Yeah,
and that's really what we're talking about. The price of a new cabinetry is like the price of a really good used car, compared to buying something that really is really dated and will never have the safety features. If you're using automobiles, for example, you would never get those safety features, and you're going to have a worn-out drivetrain that eventually is going to need to be replaced. And I know I have a truck that's 22 years old. I should know. It does cost money to even keep it running. And that's the thing, is none of the things we could do to your cabinets will give you a lifetime warranty. And this is going to give you a lifetime warranty. And so, even if you sell that house later and you say, these cabinets were lifetime warranty, I mean, that means something to people. They're like, they must have been built really, really good. And I always say the biggest thing about when you do finally want to capitalize on that investment is all the years you've enjoyed it, plus it still looks great. It's still holding up wonderfully. That's why it has a lifetime warranty, because it's going to look awesome in 20 years whenever you sell it. You can't tear up the drawers or the doors because they have soft close features on it. The drawers fully pull out. You can load them with cast iron and they would still support it, and they do. And you know, we've had, even little kids can climb in these drawers. The hardware's that strong.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's really, really a good investment for your home, not only now, but in the future.
Wow. No, I'm telling you, I'm sold. You know how I am. Like, I've gone out to these projects, I've seen them. I'm like, wow, it does make a tremendous difference. And I know that as I'm shopping for homes, I'm looking at the cabinets now. You're gonna help me get there, Bonnie. I want to be a cabinet snob. I want to walk in and be like,
That's right.
No, those aren't true. Blah 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 blah.
That's
blah.
exactly what you're gonna
I gotta
be.
get there, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I can show you all of those little secrets.
And so many
to tell
houses
how
don't
good
have
it
it.
is.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today, Keith.
Hey,
Cabinets, insane.
We want you to give us a shout out if you need anything in the cabinetry world. Bonnie is our go-to girl on all this stuff, so we really, really appreciate her, and we want to thank all of you for joining us on Behind the Remodeler podcast. This one, inside on the cabinetry world.
Awesome. See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.